10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Ko ngā pito kōrero o te wā, tonight on Metro News.
The tram extension is finally ready to go.
We take a deep dive into a chilly health trend.
And more Kiwis are getting tattooed. We check out what's driving the trend.
Tēnā koutou katoa o tō tahi and happy Pride.
Welcome to Metro News, a program brought to you by the students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School. For the last couple of months, High Street has been littered with cones and construction work. It's all been a part of an extension to the Christchurch tramway, and as Archie Milligan finds out, it's ready for the grand opening tomorrow.
Since 1882, trams have been a staple of Ōtautahi, taking people throughout the city.
For over a decade, the Christchurch tramway has ended here on the corner of Litchfield and Manchester Street. The new extension means that the track is now full circuit, leading to some exciting opportunities.
The added route will go 500 metres along Litchfield Street, down Poplar Street and back up High Street, with an added stop on the bottom corner. Businesses in the Salt District are set to benefit from the added foot traffic.
I think it's just going to bring a lot more to this side of town. We've definitely lacked it in the past couple of years.
It's all part of a nearly $6 million renovation of the area.
We're looking forward to it. We're really looking forward to it.
The extension means carriages are once again an option. Ones like these were used before the quake. While not in use, they've been out at Ferrymead.
We would love to see them back in use. We don't prefer to have them stored in their sheds.
They made submissions to council in support of the loop.
They started the extension work before the earthquakes, and it's finally now, more than 10 years later, that it's finally happening.
The challenge? If the carriages make a comeback, the operator will need to hire more crew, a decision for the future.
So it is up to them to lease the trailers from us, but it's their decision to undertake that.
Either way, with the new extension, tourists will be seeing more of the city. Archie Milligan, Metro News.
More people in New Zealand are getting tattooed, and society's attitude towards them is changing. Georgie Hannafin set out to investigate and joins us now. Georgie.
The days of little old ladies crossing the street to avoid heavily tattooed people may well be a thing of the past. It's now more acceptable for people like teachers and police officers to have visible tattoos on show in the workplace. And as a result, more people are more comfortable with their first tattoos being bigger, bolder and on display. Liam Dale is a Christchurch artist and co-owns B-List Clothing and Tattoo on Lincoln Road. He says tattoos have always been a lifestyle society hasn't been ready to learn about, but that's changing.
It's still frowned upon, like, to an extent. You know, if you get a face tattoo, you're always going to get looked at. It's just how it is. But I think a lot of people are a bit more intrigued these days rather than sort of disgusted.
Fellow artist Bob Powell says one major change in tattoo culture has been the loss of what used to be a rite of passage.
You had to have like your whole body done, before both your arms done before you get in your hands done, having body and chest done before you move up to the neck and then up to the fin. There was a natural progression to that kind of stuff before you're getting visible tattoos. So as now people run out and just get that straight away.
The British expat says Kiwis have a unique tattoo culture and is pleased to see a shift in perception.
Yeah, there's some differences and some similarities, but most of it comes down to the crux of there being like no cultural background to any of the tattoos in England. It's just artistic or appropriation of another culture, whereas here it's got its own solidly built culture around it.
Liam agrees.
People just thought you walk in and ask for a sleeve and it was drawn up like that, but I found it just sort of led to people not really respecting the process.
And while change is good, Liam says it's still important to get to know the people and their stories before judging.
There's still a sense of self in getting tattooed, and there's always going to be.
He says society should keep working towards acceptance and inclusion for his tattooed friends, because they're not going anywhere. Liam thinks reality shows like LA Ink are responsible for bringing tattoo culture onto mainstream TV and into the mindset of its viewers. He also points out the cost of laser removal is getting more affordable, making it cheaper and easier to remove that tattoo if someone gets one and changes their mind.
Thanks, Georgie. There's a new crew in town promoting local music. Years in the making, the Moonbase Record Collective is tuning up and ready for business. Violet French has more.
Behind frosted glass lies Ototahi's newest recording studio.
What are you doing here? Come on in, come on in.
Moonbase Record Collective has officially taken off after a year's work, but for Jack Lanham and Caben Wally, the idea isn't new.
To me, Moonbase is kind of something Jack and I have been trying to do, or wanting to do for since high school.
Their aim? To work with Christchurch's talent, establishing long-term relationships.
Capture the live sound and try and translate that to a record where we all feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I hear what I hear when I do sound, and they hear what they want to hear.
Having an ear for that and understanding that we're trying to make something that feels like the art of what the band is trying to make.
Moonbase occupies space in the Darkroom building, extending their community-based value.
They're reaching for the stars, joining the likes of Melted Ice Cream, Littleton Records and Loho Studios, and providing a platform for local talent.
Many of the label's roster are gaining traction on alternative radio stations. For now, they're staying grounded on launching new talent.
So we're just hoping that by creating something a little bit bigger than just one band, which has been done, lots of times and happens in Christchurch a lot, but
Moonbase is a family.
We just wanted to be that person for these bands.
Violet French, Metro News.
Christchurch Hospital is currently operating at 112% as COVID cases are pushing services to their limits. Operations are being deferred as more than 170 staff are at home. Management is also asking Cantabrians to keep the emergency department for emergencies only.
Plunging yourself into ice-cold water might not be your idea of a good time, but down at O Studio, people pay good money to do it. It costs up to $120 to have a go, and Luca Foreman went along to see if it's worth it.
Cold exposure and breathing techniques are some of the latest trends in the wellness world, popularised by Dutchman Wim Hof. Those who practice the method can't praise it enough.
And once I got in the ice bath for the first time, I felt something change inside of me. I felt powerful, I felt good.
Now Josh runs workshops to share the method with others. He says although the experience is intense, people get a lot out of it. Some look nervous to get into the ice, but everyone gave it a go.
Breathing under control.
I love seeing how worried and concerned they are before, and then afterwards they're so empowered, they're so enthusiastic, and they've got so much energy.
The ice-cold water is said to have a variety of health benefits, such as increased mood, boosting your immune system, and reducing muscle soreness. Some studies have been done on the technique, but more research is needed to fully understand its effects. A 2012 study found Wim Hof was able to control his response to stress, and one in 2016 found those who used his method had less flu-like symptoms than those who didn't. The research is ongoing. Regardless of the science, people get an immediate rush.
I feel a bit euphoric at the moment.
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the support when you were in the ice bath was really good.
And once you come down and start doing this breathing method within a community and expose yourself to the cold, you'll feel it. And once you feel it, you'll be able to understand it.
A cool way to test your mental and physical limits. Luca Foreman, Metro News.
E Whakane, coming up next. Who's missing out when it comes to school sports? And the wheels are spinning. We go courtside for the latest roller derby action.
So we get here in the morning and I attend the production meeting with everyone downstairs, and then from there we're given the rundown of the stories that we're going to be doing that day. So I then go through with the director of that show and put in their camera positions and which cameras they want to cut to, and just sort of go over with the director, make sure they've got any director's notes that they want to put in the script. Then I go down to Emily and Daniel, who are our news producers, and I just make sure all the timings are all correct and all the stories are all good and the intro words are there and everything. And then at about midday I head over to the printery. I take over a USB stick and they print out some copies, and then I go and collect them at about 1 PM. And then I am up here in the control room assisting the director and making sure we're running to time in terms of the schedule of the day. And then also once we go into our rehearsals of our live shows, I make sure that we're running to time in terms of the show and how long each story is, how much of the dead roll we can play, and I just keep everyone running to time. The sting is 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1. I'm Evelyn Stack and I'm the Director's Assistant for Metro News 2022.
Kia ora anō, welcome back. Ōtautahi's new multi-use arena is facing a massive budget blowout after being delayed another 6 months. The stadium is now $150 million over budget. The project's independent chairperson Barry Bragg says there is still a risk costs could go even higher, possibly another $10 million.
If you're into contact sports, roller derby could be just the thing for you. Jordan Dunn gets his skates on and discovers there's plenty of action, noise and drama.
Round and round. They're not wheels on the bus, they're skates. And a sport like you've never seen.
So first of all, there's no ball. We play in, we have 5 people on the track. One of those people is a jammer. They'll wear a little wee star on the helmet.
Popular in the US, roller derby is full contact, high intensity and a thrill for everyone.
Oh, it's exhilarating. It's very dangerous, but it's exhilarating.
It's really fun and it's really fast and fun.
Really unique that you don't really find other places.
While winning is the goal, players say one thing is more important.
It's just a real sense of community.
We find the sport helps people come out of the shell, get confidence and just grow.
Empowerment is the word here at the roller derby. Players and managers agreed their time spent at matches and training is rich with support and excitement. Amy said in her 12 years of playing, this has only gotten bigger, better and brighter.
We just get on and are friends before the game, during the game maybe not so much, but after the game we'll be chucking back some beers at the end.
But these spinners still get scrappy.
Yeah, but that's kind of the excitement of it. I mean, we've all got safety gear on, so it's pretty good, you know. There's been a couple of times where we've been knocked out or whatever, and that's been fine.
Everyone has big hopes for these skates to keep rolling.
I would love to see us at the Olympics or recognised in a general World Cup.
The saying kind of is it's for the skaters, by the skaters.
While teammates may call her Amy Geddon, she assures us none of this is coming to an end. Jordan Dunn, Metro News.
While thousands of youngsters are busy playing winter sports, some Christchurch schools are noticing fewer girls are taking part. There's now a big push to get them more involved. Mackenzie Jennings is covering the story and joins us now. Mackenzie.
COVID has affected everyone in some way, but the sporting world especially has taken a big hit, particularly our rangatahi and tamariki sport. But now it's being given the green light, coaches and PE teachers are now more keen than ever to get the kids active again. The big focus this year is getting young girls to pick up the ball and take part. You can feel the anticipation of these young basketballers waiting for their shot. Lemonwood Grove School is competing in the Basketball Zones competition at the Selwyn Sports Centre. COVID restrictions stopped inter-school sport for 2 years. Now students are eager to get their sneakers squeaky again.
I quite missed it because you couldn't go out there and have some fun like you would usually do.
Children really struggled because they just wanted to be out doing sport in a really tough time. So,
although sport is up and running, there's concern around low female participation. Lemonwood Grove has just one girl in their year 5 and 16.
We had a couple come to trials, but not too many. So yeah, it would be nice to get a few more.
but I guess it's okay.
Do you wish there were other girls that played basketball too?
Yes, that would be more better.
Earlier this year, Sport NZ introduced the It's My Move campaign, aimed to help young women get back into sport. The campaign explored factors like judgment, confidence and fear of failure, barriers preventing young women from taking part.
This follows a nationwide Sport NZ report on student participation. It found young women spend less time per week being physically active than young men, doing 17% less at 16 and 28% less at age 17. One student claiming the focus is on already sporty students. The neglect stopped them from applying for extracurricular sports. Lemonwood Grove's aiming to provide students with a healthy relationship to sport.
Make it inclusive, try not to make it too hard, not too much pressure on them.
You got this and you can do this.
High hopes the new plan will inspire other young girls in Ōtautahi. Sport NZ say it's too early to see any major results on how the campaign has gone so far, but Luciana Garcia says behavioural changes will take time. They're working hard to provide young wahine with opportunities and support so that they feel safe and connected to the sporting world.
Thanks, Mackenzie. COVID restrictions have caused havoc for many fundraising events, but they haven't stopped Papanui High School. Students were determined to run their own Relay for Life, and as I found out, the Cancer Society was the winner. From 9 till 5, these students are putting on their running shoes for a cause. Their goal? To raise as much money as they can for the Cancer Society.
As a school, we thought it was really important to still get out there and to walk the path for people who are suffering with cancer or battling cancer who can't be here.
Due to COVID-19, other schools and groups are holding their Relay for Life online. Papanui is doing the real thing.
Obviously this year was a virtual relay and people could relay however they like, relay your way, and it's absolutely fantastic that Papanui have got right in behind it.
And they are stoked.
Currently at $8,700 with more raffle tickets being sold, sausages being sold, coffee being sold, hair braiding today, which is raising more funds.
Relay for Life is usually held in 15 cities across the country. Despite this year's cancellation, participants have still raised over $1 million for Cancer Society's support services, promotion and research.
Myself, I have lost people to cancer and I just wanted to make a difference and do what I can to help those that need it.
I think it's awesome because we get to come together as a team and we all know each other and we can just do things as a school. And
the more that we can do, the better it helps them.
However, they're wanting future events to be back on the track.
And I think that this is a stopgap to show our aroha, but we will be with other teams walking next year, hopefully.
Papanui High raised around $11,000.
Relay for Life!
Although being separated this year, the fight against cancer remains strong. Cameron Joe, Metro News. Rugby fans, it's time to buy some tickets and get out your red and black gear as the Crusaders take on the Reds in a home quarter final. It's a rematch of last week's game where the Cantabrians won comfortably. The Crusaders are looking for another win as they head home towards the finals.
And now for the weather. It was a grey wet start today, warming up to a high of 18. After tonight's overnight low of 12, clouds will continue to cover Ōtautahi tomorrow with a high of 17. That's all for Metro News tonight.
For those stories and more, make sure to head over to our website, metronews.co.nz, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok.
We'll be back tomorrow. Ko Hannah Powell aho.
Ko Cameron Joe aho. Thank you for joining us today. Ka kite anō.